At least I didn't see you today.
Madam
Yes.
Speaker, I was in your office this morning.
What is the matter?
This matter, Madam Speaker, relates to an issue I raised here regarding human rights. 3 of us members of parliament from a party under construction, PFF, the Honorable Francis Mwijuche, the Honorable Kamara, and myself, were arrested taking a protest note to the Kenyan embassy. We are actually now reporting to court almost twice a month. When I raised this matter, the Attorney General made an undertaking to come here and brief Parliament why 3 MPs were roughed up like chicken thieves, but also to brief Parliament as to why 36 members of PFF were kidnapped from Kisumu and charged.
It is called what?
PFF.
PFF.
Yes. Madam Speaker, you know these things because you are in FDC. Madam Speaker, the 36.
Honorable Ssemujju, I am, at least you're reliably informed that I am not in FDC.
Madam Speaker, that's why I said you are in FDC. I'm not saying you are still there.
Okay.
But
what is the issue?
So the 36, the response that government promised relates to our arrest and then the kidnapping of the 36. Madam Speaker, why this matter becomes very important to receive an answer is that this government is squeezing people. You have just had 16 members of National Unity Platform being coerced by the army to plead guilty for offenses they did not commit. We have 36 who are there on terrorism. Ourselves are in court. So the reason and you are saying order. The other day near the Fort Portal mayor was killed by NRM and his NRM. So those of you are just order, wait for your day tomorrow. So the issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is an issue of human rights, deteriorating human rights. These military people who sit here every day are squeezing our people. That's why when they are here, they are just quiet. They are squeezing our people in courts of law. Instead of taking people in courts of law, they are squeezing them in their tribunals. So can we get that response, Madam Speaker, on those 3 issues? Those who are kidnapped, our arrest, the 16 new members who have been squeezed by the military to plead guilty for offenses they have not committed.
Order.
But order from our side, why don't you sit their side?
Yes, there's an order.
Thank you very much.
Just before you come with the order, did you say that the matter is in court?
Madam Speaker, I said this matter was raised here and government made an undertaking. I was actually given a copy by the clerk of parliament of the matters that government was going to answer. So I have that copy. That's why I am only demanding that government fulfills its bargain. They said they will come here and explain the arrest of members of parliament and then the kidnapping, because the kidnapping is not in court, it is a suspect.
Honorable Minister. No, let's get the answer.
Right, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, I'm struggling to understand what the prayer of the Honorable Ssemujju is about, because all these matters are in court. Maybe what I can do is to find out how far the matter is in court and then come back and give a response.
He can clarify the prayer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Under Article 28 of our Constitution, and I would like to read.
The presumption of innocence.
No, 28(1) of civil rights and obligations or any criminal charge, a person shall be entitled to fair, speedy, and public hearing before an independent and impartial court or tribunal. What the Honorable Ssemujju is raising is that the government is in the habit of hurrying to arrest persons they suspect of committing a crime, produce them in court, and thereafter relax. Producing a suspect in court to take plea and then keeping quiet for 4 years without any trial. What the Constitution had envisaged is that the trial is actually the prosecution adduce evidence and there's a hearing, not just a matter of bringing them to court and it's mentioned like it's happening in the General Court Martial and several other courts around the country. So the matter that Honorable Ssemujju is saying relates to the speedy and fair trial. How do you arrest me and put me 5 years? And yet even in the end, even if I'm found guilty, some of the sentences would actually be less than 3 years. So how do I serve 5 years in a trial and yet the punishment may actually be less than the 5 years? That is what we should clarify.
When a colleague joined us, I don't see him here today, the Honorable Balam Barugahara Atenyi, shortly after he was sworn in, after becoming a Minister of State for Children and Youth.
Where is Balam?
He did say...
No, Balam is coming. You'll raise that issue.
The government chief whip, because he raised it through the lead of government business. That's why I'm reminding us here. He did commit, and he asked that I retable the names of missing persons, those incarcerated, political prisoners, and so on. And I said, but those lists we had tabled severally. They're even in the library. But I said, for the avoidance of doubt, I retabled a list here. I said, anyone who would like to access it should access it. He committed to giving us an update because he said now he will take the law into his own hands, circumvent the legal processes and so on to ensure that people are freed. I think it would be prudent that the Honorable Balam comes and gives this House an update on what he has been up to, the machinations he has been up to, and how he has gone about this whole process that was in court and were making complaints, as colleagues have mentioned. People are held for 4 years, no trial, no evidence. He said he would handle the matter. Let him come and give us an update, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. People were arrested, they were taken to court, and he wants to know the position.
Madam Speaker, if you allow me to call you here, potentially you might be in prison tomorrow. We have had MPs who have just returned. So when you are speaking about matters of prison, please, the former LDU, allow us to raise these matters. Madam Speaker, the issue of abusing prisoners' rights.
There is a procedure.
I went to Chitalia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Subject sub rule 5 of this rule, a member shall not refer to any particular matter which is sub judice, any matter that is under the courts of law or being handled by the courts. So, is the honorable member in order of procedure, are we proceeding right to listen to his arguments, well knowing that all the matters he's raising are subject to court decisions? Number two, Madam Speaker, I don't know whether we are proceeding right to listen to Honorable Ssemujju when he's making allegations that are not, that have no evidence. He mentioned that members of NUP were coerced into accepting certain charges, and there is no evidence to that. Madam Speaker, are we proceeding right?
Honorable members, there is only one person who can determine whether the matter is sub judice or not, and it is only the Speaker. So I have not yet ruled that.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
To understand where these people are and how these people are being treated and how basically that.
Thank you very much. See, when these prisoners, one of them, the ones who are alleged to have confessed their crimes, now from prison's uniform, we appeared in an NRM T-shirt bearing President Museveni's poster. I was in Chitalia. I took T-shirts to PFF members, the 36 who are there. And the prisons told me you cannot bring political T-shirts in the prison. How did government access prison to take their Museveni's T-shirt? You simply cannot abuse rights of prisoners, even when they are subdued. Madam Speaker, these matters are very serious matters. I see...
No, for me, all I want is an update. Let the minister give us an update, how far the government has gone. On the issue of the T-shirts, that's simple. Yes, Honorable Minister.
You know, the biggest challenge, Madam Speaker, we have is the interpretation of Article 23, Sub-Article 6 of our Constitution. If the minister can bring to us a list of people on remand and who have been on remand for more than 180 days before their cases have been committed to the High Court, regardless of the crimes they are alleged to have been committed, and what action is being taken by the Director of Public Prosecutions to either discontinue or have these people temporarily released. Because we have very many people recently, I'm told, of a person who has been on remand for 13 years without even committal. So let the minister, since he's in charge of the prisons, give us a list of the people on remand for more than 180 days and who have not been.
So we'll give the minister time to bring that report. We'll need to have time to get the report and bring the report. Yes?
Thank you. But we continue listening and hearing the outcry of people saying they don't know where their people are. Possibly, maybe as the minister brings the report, given the time you have given him, could he help the Ugandans to identify and locate these people so that when he's reading a report...
Which people? You mentioned the people.
Right.
That's a sweeping statement.
Right, Honorable Speaker, whenever we hear missing people, missing persons...
Which missing persons? You mentioned the name. Mention the name so that the minister comes with the names.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I take it.
Madam, a resident from Wakiso is one of those people who is missing and not yet known anywhere.
You know, as a legislator, you must be complete when you're speaking. You've said the right person, Shibalama of so and such, or of such and such a place. You get it, eh? Not just saying a sweeping statement that we have missing people. Next item.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to know which information, because there is I'm confused.
The one that was raised by Honorable Winfred.
Honorable Minister, let me assist you, Mr. Some sessions. On a couple of occasions, I have tabled those lists, and they are in the library with Parliament.
No.
Of people that have been incarcerated, of missing persons, including a one John Bosco Chibalama, whom the Prime Minister told us was arrested. So she knows where he is. So, Honorable Minister, please don't feign ignorance of these lists. Kindly go to the library and ask for those lists, because we have tabled them severally. But
No,
if you want, we can retable them for the umpteenth time, so that there is no excuse. Let's not feign ignorance, really, on this issue.
Now, honorable members, Honorable Ssemujju raised this issue. And now you're mixing the two issues. And then the one is talking about the one over 180 days. Over 180 days. Okay? Over 180 days. Is that understood, Honorable Minister?
The reason I was raising this matter was because it was raised here, and they made a commitment to come and brief Parliament. On our own arrest,
that was
MPs taking a petition to the Kenyan Embassy, myself, the Honorable Mwijuchi, the Honorable Kamara, on the kidnapping of the 36 attending a seminar in Kisumu, and on the deteriorating human rights record in Uganda, including the military torturing people and getting them to confess to crimes they have not committed. And
So
the government minister...
we'll give that report in 2 weeks. Honorable members.
On Thursday, 1st August 2024, regarding the question of government's plans to end the vice of confiscating people's national IDs, was enacted and established the National Identification and Registration Authority, NIRA, with a mandate to register all persons in the country, assign them unique identification numbers, and issue national identification cards, among others. The National Identity Card is now a critical document that serves as proof of identity, nationality, and citizenship. It is essential for accessing a wide range of services. However, there has been a disturbing increase in the number of reports where money lenders are taking these vital documents as collateral for loans. This illegal practice leaves borrowers vulnerable and deprives them of their most basic identification document, thereby leading to further financial and social marginalization. The impact on citizens: when a national identity card is confiscated, it severely limits an individual's ability to participate in various livelihood activities. Without their ID, citizens cannot open bank accounts, receive government services, or even verify their identity in various circumstances when the situation warrants. This practice disproportionately affects the most vulnerable members of society, including the poor, elderly, and uneducated, who may not fully understand their rights or the legal implications of surrendering their IDs in this manner. Right Honorable Speaker, and honorable members, the confiscation of national identity cards by money lenders opens the door to exploitation and abuse. Individuals who find themselves unable to pay their loans are often subjected to harassment, intimidation, and further financial extortion. This cycle of exploitation exacerbates poverty and undermines efforts to foster social and economic development in our communities. Our response and planned actions, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, the government of Uganda is committed to protecting the rights of all its citizens and ensuring that the national identity card retains its intended purpose as an enabler for easy access to services and not exploitation. To address this issue, the government has undertaken the following measures. Legal framework: there are various laws, including the Constitution, that create specific rights as well as obligations regarding this subject. Article 292C provides that every Ugandan shall have a right to a passport or other travel document, in this case a national ID, which is also a recognized travel document, and therefore nobody has the right to deprive a holder of a national identity card of the same. Section 77B of the Registration of Persons Act, Cap 332, provides that a person who without authority deprives or dispossesses a holder of his or her national identification card commits an offense. Further, Section 77E of the same Act provides that a person who unlawfully keeps or takes possession of a national identification card that belongs to another person commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 48 currency points, which is Uganda shillings 960, or imprisonment not exceeding 3 years or both. It should be noted that under Section 693 of the ROPA, an issued national identification card remains the property of the government of Uganda. A money lender, therefore, has no authority to deprive or dispossess a person of his or her national ID. The national ID is government property and cannot be staked as security or collateral. Government did not intend national identity cards to be used as collateral for borrowing, but rather as identification documents to foster social and economic development in the country, being enabler to access services easily by the citizenry. In a bid to enforce the above provisions, government has further enacted Tier 4 microfinance institutions and money lenders regulations, statutory instrument number 8 of 2018, which expressly prohibits the demand or acceptance of a national ID, passport, warrant card, or other document establishing the identity or nationality of the holder as collateral for any money advanced to a borrower as a loan. Regulation 18 to be specific. Therefore, any money lender found in violation of these laws and regulations is in breach of the law, and if convicted, is liable to suffer severe penalties, including the revocation or non-renewal of their operating licenses, payment of fines, and imprisonment. Upgrade of the national ID by introducing digital IDs. NERA plans to eventually upgrade the national ID by rolling out digital electronic identity cards. One of the advantages of this is that it will combat the troubling practice of confiscated national identity cards as collateral for loans by money lenders. The introduction of EIDs will reduce dependency on physical cards for identification. With digital verification, citizens will be able to authenticate their identity using electronic means, such as mobile apps or online platforms. This planned shift reduces the risk of physical IDs being used as collateral, since digital identity verification does not require the physical handover of the card. Money lenders will no longer be able to hold a physical national identity card as security, because the verification process will remain under the control of the card holder and the authorized institution. This initiative is not only about adopting new technology, but also will protect our citizens from predatory practices that have plagued our society far too long. Government is cognizant of the fact that the majority of its citizens do not yet have access to internet and smartphones to enable the immediate implementation of a universal digital ID system. However, when this happens, it will be the ideal solution to decisively deal with this challenge. Public awareness campaigns. The government is undertaking nationwide public awareness campaigns to educate citizens about their rights and the dangers of surrendering their national identity cards as collateral. Government agencies such as NERA, the Uganda Police Force, and the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority have undertaken civil media engagements to create awareness in the public about illegal acts of misuse of identity cards as collateral. This awareness is intended to empower citizens with knowledge about their rights over their national identity cards, thus reducing exploitation. Strengthening oversight and enforcement. The government has stepped up enforcement of the law by arresting and prosecuting persons involved in this illegal practice. For example, in Lira City, it was reported by the police in the North Choga region that operations were conducted on the 5th of August 2024 within Lira City, targeting money lending companies, and 149 national identity cards were recovered. The law enforcement agencies prosecute such cases where lenders are found to be engaging in such blatant abuse of confiscation of national identity cards. Citizens are therefore encouraged to report to the nearest police station or NERA office any person or entity illegally holding their national identity card for further action. The challenge, however, remains that the card holders do not report and are also in a way complicit in this malpractice for want of anything to stake as collateral for borrowing. So through all levels of leadership, we need to provide leadership and guidance to the population. Engagement with stakeholders. The government will continue to engage with key stakeholders, including financial institutions, political leaders, civil society, and community leaders to ensure a collaborative approach to ending this practice. This will include dialogues, consultations, and other engagements aimed at identifying and addressing the root causes of this issue. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and members, the confiscation of national identity cards as security for loans is a deplorable practice that must be stopped immediately. The government of Uganda is fully committed to protecting the rights and dignity of our citizens by ensuring that their national identity cards retain their integrity and remain in their possession and are used only for their intended purpose. To achieve this end state, the citizens themselves must cooperate by avoiding this illegal practice as much as possible, or in the unlikely event that it happens, report to authorities to retrieve the confiscated cards. I beg to submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, first before we go to anything, before we say anything on that, we had asked the Minister of Finance to bring regulations to curb the interest rates of money lenders. How far did you go? Because that's the most important thing. We want regulations.
Is still working on them. And I undertake to follow up within 4 weeks. Within 4 weeks, we shall bring the draft.
You want to bring us the draft?
We shall bring the regulation.
We need the regulations. The issue of money lenders is a very serious issue.
Yes, it is.
Honorable members, so we cannot implement what we agreed on the law without regulations in this house. Yes, Ozzy?
Does not only stop with the exorbitant interest rates, but also the conditions of payment. I was with my women in my rural village. The women in my constituency, in that case, as a leader, I refer to them as my women because I lead them. But I don't mean that they are my wives. There's difference between, so you should get that.
If Honorable Z is married.
Madam Speaker, many of those complain to me, those ones in their saving groups and the rest, they engage in businesses, but some of these money lenders have gone to those rural areas. They give money, but the condition of payment is that you pay every day. You pay every day to them. So the extortion is real, because I was telling them, if you pay money every day to these money lenders, how do you get money for yourself? This is typical exploitation. So we really need this. We need the regulations here, so that we assess and see.
That makes us advise our
to the civil servants. You find that those days, for a civil servant to access loan, this must be authorized by the cow, and the cow determines how much you can get as a loan. But this time, a civil servant, so long as has the national ID, the financial card, and supply number, can just walk to these banks and get loans. And the coding of these loans are done by private companies, not the cow. So this has led to over-deduction of their monies. In some cases, many of these civil servants have their names deleted. Because once you get loan and the deductions go below 50% of your salary, then your name disappears. And this has caused many civil servants to abandon job. So it is one of the serious issues. We needed explanation from government. How can a private company come up with coding of loans? And why do you leave out the cow who is supposed to supervise his civil servants? It has nothing to do with approval of loans. So I think...
You know, the private company, once you have a CRB, that private company will be able to know how much money you have, and they will be able to give you. But it all goes to financial discipline. Financial discipline.
So, Madam Speaker, as the government comes, we need...
The members of the East African Assembly that are up there watching and attending to our proceedings. One, we have members from Burundi. We have Honorable Victor.
The internal affairs, you advertise the IDs. Someone should, wait, why don't you allow information, please? Someone should pay for the money of the advert instead of paying 200,000 to go and get a new one. Advertise them, they are all over every police station. And lastly, Right Honorable Speaker, on the IDs, there are people who don't have fingerprints. We should have an alternative to fingerprints. Eyelids recognition is now used worldwide as part of the biometrics for identification. So in the new IDs, please include the eyelids recognition so that those who don't have fingerprints can get an alternative. I submit, Right Honorable.
Thank you.
My presentation is not about the entire census. It is responding to the issues that were raised on the floor recently. Yeah, we shall be coming to present that one.
Honorable Minister, most of the people had issues on census. The Bagisu had issues on the census. The Langi, everybody had issues on census. And then there was also the one of Honorable Daisy. So I don't know how you're going to handle this. Maybe we could have a report, the census report. Let's have a census report such that we are able to refer. Jonah, do you have something, Jonah?
No, but Madam Speaker, the issue that was raised.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. When you look at the instrument that allows the census to take place, there are about 36 parameters that when you are conducting census, it's in the fourth schedule, you must interrogate. And what we have in the public domain is that the census was conducted in a shabby manner. The data, the allegations that they were manipulated, others were cooked. The public is outraged that many households were never even approached by the enumerators. And even the provisional report that was released has since been recalled. So we actually don't have any foundation to entertain such a statement. In the premises, without even any foundational document for us to refer to, it is difficult to appreciate such a statement, because what the country expects is a report on the census, not a statement brought by the minister, and we are not even sure where the minister is coming from. So I propose that the minister be allowed to go back. We already gave them more than 380 billion, and that 380 billion, they should do their work, and once they are...
I didn't want to interrupt the Shadow Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. But when the Honorable Matia Kasaija made the undertaking, he made the undertaking in the premise that there were many issues that needed to be answered. And as a result, he said, can I come with a statement about everything? That's how I understood it. The procedural issue I am raising, Madam Speaker, is whether even before receiving a statement to know what is in that statement, we can now in anticipation rule it unsatisfactory. Yet the undertaking was that the minister will come here to answer all issues of the census. That's what the Honorable Matia Kasaija, the Honorable State Minister, I think is just carrying a document he has been given. But his boss was here and he said his statement will be a statement about all the issues.
He made a disclaimer and said it was partial. And based on that, first of all, we need to know what is the source of this document, because we must be having a report where he extracted the figures that is reporting from. So, Honorable Minister, we would need a report of the census, and then you can come and give us a report. A report where you will be able to quote that the source is from the census report. I mean the census report, yes. So you will go back and bring that report, and we will still give you, how much time do you need? And no, in the meantime, Ugandans should know what they know.
Right, Honourable Speaker, actually this submission relates to what transpired when Honorable Kaseja was here. And he asked me to come here because he's out of the country. You gave him a deadline to report on particular issues that were raised then, including the matter raised by Honorable Ndezi and the matter relating to the tribes, data relating to the tribes. So those are some of the issues that I was
How much
responding
time
to.
do you need to bring the report?
Permit me to inform the House that in December, we shall be, wait a minute. In December, we are coming up with a final report on the national census for 2024. The final report.
Honorable members,
This report we had was a provisional report. So the final report is coming out in December. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, you have indicated that I must have a report to quote.
Honorable members, December is not far. It will also pass. Let's get something that is concrete, that is authenticated. You get it, eh? So we cannot take this because it is partial. Mzee Kasaija said he was coming with a concrete what? Information. So let's go to the next item.
Item 3.3, statement by Minister on the new